So Elon Musk recently laid out his vision for the future, and we're not talking about some far-off, distant sci-fi fantasy. No, he's talking about a roadmap for the next 2 years. We're going to break down his predictions for AI, for robotics, and, what it all could mean for every single one of us. Musk kicks things off with this really powerful, kind of mind-bending idea: humanity as a biological bootloader. What he's suggesting is that our entire civilization is just the startup program for a digital superintelligence. Think about it like the code that boots up your computer, but for an intelligence that will absolutely dwarf our own. It's a humbling and frankly pretty startling way to see our place in history. And that right there, that's the central question, isn't it? His timeline is incredibly aggressive. His predictions are literally world-altering, and he seems to think a lot of this is already irreversible. So the big question is, are we actually ready for this? Let's dive into why he thinks this is all happening so incredibly fast. All right, first up, the speed of this transformation. In Musk's view, this isn't some distant wave on the horizon. The future he's talking about, he says it's already made landfall. Musk uses some pretty intense language here, right? A supersonic tsunami. He's not talking about gradual change. He's talking about an overwhelmingly fast and powerful force that's already here. He even argues we're past the point of no return, that we are already living inside the technological singularity, that moment where technological growth just becomes uncontrollable and irreversible. And here's where it gets really, really specific. He's putting a date on it. He's saying artificial general intelligence, or AGI, could be here as soon as 2026. And get this, just 4 years after that, he predicts the total intelligence of AI will surpass that of all humanity, combined. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Okay, so if AGI is just around the corner, what happens next? Well, according to Musk, it's not going to be a smooth ride, not at all. He calls it the bumpy transition, a period of massive, massive upheaval. He describes the next, say, 3 to 7 years as a complete paradox. On one hand, you've got an explosion of productivity and wealth creation like we have never seen before. But on the other hand, you've got immense social disruption as the very foundations of our society get completely reshuffled. And the weird part? Both are happening at the exact same time.
And here is that paradox in action. The first wave of job displacement, he says, is going to hit white-collar workers. The keyboard and mouse jobs. But at the very same time, he predicts robotics will advance so quickly that within 5 years, his Optimus robot could be a better surgeon than any human. It's just wild.
This transition creates this intense evolutionary pressure on the entire economy. For businesses, adopting AI, well, it won't be optional. Musk frames it as a pure survival mechanism. Companies that integrate AI will completely outcompete those that don't, leading to what he calls a one-sided rout. It won't even be a fair fight. And to give you a sense of the sheer scale we're talking about here, Musk predicts that by the year 2040, there will be over 10 billion humanoid robots on Earth. That's more robots than people. But what's on the other side of all this disruption? After the bumpy transition, Musk sees a radically different world emerge. A world where the fundamental rules of economics are completely rewritten. This is his long-term vision, an era of unimaginable abundance. And this raises a pretty foundational question. If robots and AI can do virtually every single job, what's left for us to do? I mean, how does society even function when human labor is no longer necessary? Musk's answer isn't universal basic income, or UBI, which is really about providing a floor for survival. He proposes something way different: universal high income. This isn't about a safety net. It's a future of such extreme abundance that scarcity itself just becomes a relic of the past, allowing pretty much anyone to have whatever they want. So how on earth does that work? The core idea is that when you remove labor, which is the primary driver of cost in almost everything, prices just collapse. The cost of any good or service basically becomes the cost of its raw materials and the energy needed to produce it. That's it. But of course, this entire vision, AGI, 10 billion robots, universal abundance, it all runs on one thing: energy, an absolutely colossal amount of it. And Musk is clear, this is the single biggest bottleneck. It is the one variable that could stop this entire future from ever happening. And this has a huge geopolitical dimension. Musk points to China's efficiency in deploying energy, predicting its AI computing power could soon surpass the rest of the world combined. This is why he believes wattage, not dollars, will be the true currency of the future. So his solution to Earth's energy limits is, well, it's audacious. Go to space. He argues that once Starship drops launch costs way down, it becomes more economical to build massive solar-powered data centers in orbit, giving them constant, unfiltered access to the sun's energy 24/7. Which leads us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. We've got the technology, we have a plan for the energy, but what about us? What is humanity's role in this strange new world? This is the existential question at the very heart of AI development, right? If we actually succeed in creating a digital superintelligence, how do we make sure, absolutely sure, that it remains a benevolent force and doesn't, turn against its creators? Musk proposes 3 guiding principles for AI safety. First, truthfulness. Never force it to lie. Second, curiosity. An AI that is genuinely curious about the universe is more likely to preserve humanity, if only because, hey, we're more interesting than a bunch of rocks. And finally, a sense of beauty, to ensure the future it builds is one we'd actually want to live in. And this leads us to the final challenge. In a world of abundance where work is optional, humanity will face a crisis of meaning. Musk warns that if we don't find a new purpose, we risk collapsing into total meaninglessness. So his vision leaves us with one last huge question. In this future, what is our purpose? I guess that's for us to figure out.